In this video, we're going to talk about divergent series. Specifically, I'm going to introduce something called the nth term test, which is a test that'll give us a condition that'll let us say for sure that a series diverges. So here's what the nth term test says. It says that if the limit as n goes to infinity of a sub n is not equal to 0, then the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of a sub n, so my infinite series, diverges. So when it says the limit of a sub n is not 0, that's saying the limit of the terms, so these a sub n's, are not 0. It's not talking about the limit of the partial sums. It's just talking about the limit of the terms not being 0. Okay, so let's look at an example. So let's say I had the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of n. Okay, so if I just write out some of the terms here to get a feel for what this is, when I plug 1 into this for the n, for my variable, I get 1. Plus, when I plug in the one integer up, I plug in 2. That gives me 2. When I plug in one integer up, I get 3. So I'm getting 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus dot 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 forever. So it definitely seems like this is going to be infinity. This is going to be somehow infinitely large. So it does make sense sort of intuitively that this should diverge. It's not going to be the sum is not going to be finite. Okay, so this right here is our a sub n. This is the formula for the terms, a sub n equals n. So the way I could use the nth term test to figure out that this diverges is that if I take the limit of this, the limit of the terms, the limit as n goes to infinity of n is, well, this limit is infinity. And what the nth term test says is, well, is that 0? And in this case, infinity, that is not equal to 0. And because it's not 0, this means the series diverges. So anytime we have a series where the limit of the terms is not 0, the limit of a sub n is not 0, the sequence automatically diverges. And that is a really nice test to have. So there's something that we want to be really careful about now, which is, a natural question is, well, what does it mean if the limit of the terms is 0? Like, does that mean the series converges? That is a really common trap, it turns out. If the limit of the terms of a sub n is 0, the series actually may or may not converge. Sometimes it will converge, but sometimes it might not. So let me give an example of both happening. So here are two series. The first is the sum from n equals 0. So remember, this bottom number where it starts doesn't have to be 1 all the time. Here it's 0. Of 1/2 to the n converges. And we'll see why in the next video. But the sum from n equals 1 to infinity of 1 over n diverges. And we'll see that 2 videos from now. But in both of these series, the terms go to 0. So in this first series, a sub n is 1/2 to the n. And the limit of those terms, the limit as n goes to infinity of 1/2 to the n, is going to be 0. Because 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2, an infinite number of times, it's getting really, really close to 0. With this other series, a sub n, the formula for it is 1 over n. And if we take the limit of that as n goes to infinity, the limit as n goes to infinity of 1 over n, this is 1 over something really, really huge, which is also 0. So again, just to recap, even though the terms in both of these series tend to 0, they're approaching 0, one of these series actually converges, the other one diverges. Just on a really conceptual level, the terms in this first series, the sum of 1/2 to the n, they get close to 0 really, really fast. And that's why this one converges. But the terms in the series 1 over n, they get close to 0 a lot more slowly than the 1/2 to the n's do. And that's what sort of leads to it diverging. But again, we'll show why this actually diverges in a future video.